Hi, friends, and welcome to the Sabrina Scott podcast. I hope you guys are all doing amazing and are enjoying the way that the new year and this week are moving. Lots of changing vibes. I don't know. I'm feeling it. And so for today's episode, I keep putting off all these episodes that I want to be doing. So we'll get to it. There's so many things I want to talk about. One of them is why I changed the podcast name. Another one is what tarot card I pulled for my business moving forward. These are huge topics I'm so excited to talk to you about. But for today, I actually want to talk about something different, and that is 3 different ways that tarot and doing tarot for the year ahead can set you up to have a killer year. I know it's already mid-January, and some of you guys might be like, ugh, I give up. I didn't do my year ahead tarot reading yet, so I'm just not going to bother. That reminds me of, late to class energy. I remember when I was in my undergrad, I was so afraid to show up to class. If I was 5 minutes late, I was horrified. And you know what? Whenever I did show up, despite being late, I was always really glad I did. Teacher never really cared. So please don't be that person. Just show up. It is going to be so worth it. Do the tarot spread for the year ahead if you have not already. Because let me tell you why. So honestly, I've been doing this for probably a decade for myself, if not more. And I do have a particular methodology that I tend to use to make sure that my results are really good. And I've been teaching this to students for a while, but never in a workshop. So that is coming up, by the way. Tomorrow is the last day to get that for $29 as opposed to my full price of $250. And it is pay what you can. So if you can afford a little bit more, then by all means, please do that. But anyway, let's just get to these 3 big ways that tarot can help structure your year. So number 1. Tarot gives you an overall vibe check. So what I love about tarot is it's both very detailed and also very kind of bird's eye view at the same time, if you know how to read it. So with this overall vibe check, we can learn a lot based on the colors, the suits we pull, the reversals or lack thereof, the balance of major arcana versus minor arcana, the type of court cards we pull, if any. Based on all of that, we'll have a pretty decent idea of the energies flowing around us in the year to come. And this can help us prepare for it ahead of time and play both defense and offense in the year ahead, rather than being completely surprised and thrown off when we hit a certain road bump. The overall tarot vibe check can help us pinpoint certain issues before they become massive issues. And so what I love about this is it means that tarot can be both preventative and protective if we know how to work with it properly. So I'm going to give a bit of a silly example. So I remember someone told me a story once. They were driving with a friend, and the friend had a Hummer, which is, if you don't know, I'm sure everyone knows what a Hummer is. You don't really see them as much anymore, but it's a very intense, very hardcore car. And it's very strong and it's very big. And basically this person had their coffee on their little, coffee holder thing. And I guess someone else was driving drunk or something and T-boned their car. And so what ended up happening was the other person who T-boned them was very injured, very, very injured. The car was completely totaled. But the Hummer, there was not a scratch on it really, and the person spilled maybe 1 drop of coffee. And so if that person was in a normal car, probably all parties would be injured. All of the parties in the story would have been injured. The coffee would have been the least of their problems. There would have been everyone in the hospital, everyone is fucked up, if they even survived, right? But because they were in a Hummer, they were hit, and the car kind of wobbled a bit, but they were fine. No injuries, coffee spilled a little bit, but that's it. And so I do see doing tarot for the year ahead as kind of the same thing as being in a Hummer. I know it's probably offensive to a lot of y'all. Hummers are like not popular anymore, but it is protective in this way, right? Because it gives us this structure so that we can handle whatever craziness, whatever unpredictability comes our way. Because let's admit it, life is chaotic and crazy stuff is going to happen in life that sometimes we can't fully predict. But the tarot can give us often this little heads up, like, hey, the energy around this time is going to be a little bit volatile. Hey, there's going to be a big surprise this month. Hey, that month is going to be a really good time for you to just kind of chill because there's not going to be too much going on. So take a vacation then. So tarot can give us this structure and this flow at the same time. And if we're operating without all of that, like, will we still survive? Like, yes, I'm assuming so. But why not have this extra set of tools in our toolkit? Why not have this additional layer of protection and information to help us inform our decision-making process throughout the year? Personally, I think tarot is amazing for this. So, okay, number 2. Tarot helps us with divine timing. So, personally, I love planning vacations and launches based on what my cards for the year ahead say. So if you're not sure when to go on that vacation, not sure when you should launch that project or focus on writing your next book, if you're not sure when you should keep your head down and just be a crazy workaholic for a little while and just hustle, if you're not sure when you should ask for a raise or switch jobs or even move cities or move countries, there are tarot cards specifically about travel and moving. And there are also cards specifically about disability. If you guys watch my tarot for the week ahead, I actually had a card warn me about stubbing my toe. I pulled the 5 of Pentacles, and it's the only card in the Rider-Waite-Smith where people are literally disabled, right? Someone is on crutches. And that same exact week, I actually stubbed my toe for the first time like in my life. And I've had a bit of a limp for months now because of this, right? And so tarot, yes, it can be predictive. It can give us a little bit of an insight onto timing for various things. So I find this very funny that, yes, even I, pulling the card, could not avoid stubbing my toe. You would have think that I could avoid it based on pulling the card, but no, like it accurately read the energy of that week, right? Which is why I love the tarot. It can warn us a bit, right? So if you're not too sure about when you should splurge or be super frugal or make that leap, you know, tarot is really amazing for helping us align with that divine timing. It's amazing for helping us zoom out the bird's eye view and helping us decide when and how to time certain big decisions or actions based on the cards that we're pulling, what month we're pulling them for, or what semester or what quarter of the year. I've led people to read for all these various configurations of tarot for the year ahead, or even by season. And so when we're paying attention to the cards that we pull, it really can help us guide our decision making so that we're moving with the flow of the year ahead energy for us rather than moving against the tide, right? So I'm not like a boat person, so maybe this metaphor doesn't make sense, but I feel like it's kind of like a sailboat, right? Like when it's got to catch the wind to help it move. And so yeah, you can be on a boat in the water and enjoy yourself without going with the wind. You can exist and go against the wind, but it's going to be harder, it's going to take longer, it's going to be super slow, and it's probably going to be more of a rocky boat ride than if you're just sailing with the wind and kind of riding that wave, so to speak. I'm mixing metaphors, and if anyone does do boats, please let me know what the actual sense-making metaphor is, but I hope you guys get what I mean in that when we are working with the cards and what they say in terms of timing, it can really help us expedite our growth. It can mean that we will be working in alignment with the energies of the universe as opposed to working against it. And sometimes something as simple as timing is really the thing that makes the biggest difference as to our success or failure. So personally, I love that. And number 3, of course, tarot gives us a reality check. So I love it. Tarot is like the bitchy best friend. I think it's great. The tough love mentor. And so one of the most common happenings when I read for others is pulling cards that are about what my client really wanted to ask about but didn't ask about, often due to fear or embarrassment. So whether it's nightmares, sexual addiction, alcoholism, debt, lusting after someone who objectively is crappy, or a breakup we're avoiding, or anything like that, it always comes out in the cards if it needs to be addressed. And a year ahead tarot reading and spread is no exception for that. Like, I think some people think that, like, oh, because I'm not asking about my relationship, it's not going to come out in the year ahead reading. It's like, no, it absolutely will. And that's part of what I love about it, you know, and it can give us some insight on timing for a lot of these different things as well. So the tarot tells us what we need to know, even if we don't really want to know it. That, I think, is why it's so powerful. And I think actually reading tarot regularly, especially for the year ahead, it's a courageous thing to do. It's an act of facing our fears and facing the music. And I do think that psychologically doing this intentionally can help build resilience and grit and all of these other amazing psychological qualities that help us deal with, face, and move through conflict in ways that are in alignment with our integrity and our values. So personally, I love it. I think tarot is super helpful. And so if you have not yet done your cards, it is not too late. Like, you can really do a year ahead reading at any time and have the start and end of the 12 months be whenever. I know a lot of people who do it around their birthday. So that is definitely an option. But since we're in January and it's the calendar year, why not? Why not do it now? And if you've already done it and you're a little confused, I can help with that too. So I talked about this in a previous episode or two, but guess what? On this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, I'm teaching for the first time ever in public the Tarot for the Year Ahead workshop. And it's going to be super fun. It will teach you, I guess I will teach you, how to do a tarot reading for the year ahead, the things to keep in mind, how to not fuck it up, how to actually read the cards that come up, right? Because a lot of people might not know, like, oh my God, how do I read a reversed Page of Cups for February? What the hell does that mean? What do I do with that? And so we will deal with this. We will get to it. And there is actually, I think, 26 or 7 people registered now, but even still, there will be time, and I will make time to make sure that everyone who is confused about their reading that they did for themselves has time to ask me for some clarity and some help interpreting what the hell you pulled. I don't want you guys to move into this year ahead confused. I think it is possible to feel empowered with a pretty solid, sturdy roadmap. And so I do think these year ahead tarot readings can be that roadmap for the year ahead, honestly, and give us that structure so that we can play and flourish within that structure. I kind of see it like a greenhouse, and then we're the beautiful flower that is just kind of blossoming within that awesome structure and environment and insight and nourishment, right? So the workshop is Saturday, January 20th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll probably go over 2 to 3 hours. I would assume closer to 3, if I can just go off of how these tend to go. And it is at the moment pay what you can, which expires tomorrow night Eastern Time. As of Thursday Eastern Time at midnight, it will go up to my usual full price of $250. So you're definitely going to want to jump in immediately. And the link to do that is going to be in the description of this episode. If you usually can't afford my offerings, this is a really good opportunity to just try that out, see if you like my teaching, and also have an absolute steal of a price for a workshop that's going to be absolutely jam-packed with value. And everyone who attends, or everyone who signs up, actually, even if you can't come live, is going to get that recording to access forever. So whenever you want, even if something comes up, maybe you've got a family emergency and you can't come, that's okay. Don't worry. You can submit to me your question over email, and I will give everyone the recording. So again, the link to that is just in the description of this episode. If you can't find it, just feel free to send me an email or a DM on Instagram, Sabrina M. Scott. My email is ceo@sabrinamscott.com, and I hope to see you guys in the workshop. Also, just a little PSA, I'm still transferring all of my students from my other platforms to my new platform. And so if you are a longtime student, if you are someone who has been in either Magic or Tarot Without Bullshit, those are the last student bodies that I'm transferring, because there is so many of you guys. There's like 300 of you. And so it is taking me quite a while. And so thank you for your grace and patience with that. If anyone wants to be expedited, please let me know. I can probably facilitate that. And I'm really excited to get everyone over to the new platform because it does look super cute. And one other thing to put on your calendar, I'll be launching a brand new membership and community on February 1st, aka In Bulk, and I am just stoked about that. So can't wait to tell you more about it over the next few weeks, and I hope to see you guys in the Tarot for the Year Ahead workshop. Much love, everyone. Bye.